Random
You
bullshit.
think so?
Because I can't fucking spend. How many hours does it take to watch all Game of Thrones?
Okay, so every episode's like an hour long, and there's like 69 episodes right now.
So 69 hours.
69 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't have that kind of time. So that's how I'm going to play it. Since he just started recording, what I'm going to do is, and I haven't seen any episode of Game of Thrones, the series finale, I'm going to give Johnny a 30-minute window, and a couple of shots and a couple beers that he's going to chug during this process to literally catch me up on all of Game of Thrones in 30 minutes. And I'm going to watch the last episode, and I'm going to be like, okay, I didn't have to spend 70 hours of my life watching a TV show.
We'll do some heavy drinking, and then 30 minutes before the episode comes on, I will just tell you all of everything that is Game of Thrones.
Absolutely. And this is what I have to say about shit like this, because this is kind of the trending thing. Lost, The Sopranos, the majority of people end up being disappointed with big fucking TV shows like this and how they end.
Breaking Bad was good.
There were still people who were, I mean, okay.
There will always be people who
It was
are
open-ended,
disappointed.
though. It was open-ended.
It was.
They have to be.
They're making a movie, Breaking Bad movie.
No
They
shit.
made
Yeah.
a spin-off, the Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Which I heard
That's a
was really
spin-off
good, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I never got into Breaking Bad. I tried. I watched like the first 2 seasons, and I was still not. It just wasn't my thing.
It's hard for me to get invested into something that takes so long to fucking watch, unless it's The Office.
didn't watch
I'm
Breaking
sorry.
Bad?
Mm-mm. I tried.
Dude, so good.
That's what everybody says. But okay, so I watched the first season once, and then everybody was like, "No, give it more time." And I've done that before with shows. I did that with Game of Thrones. I watched the first season of Game of Thrones way back when it first came out. Did not like it. Just wasn't into it. Watched it again like 3 years later, and was like while they were in the middle of season 3, watched the first season, and was like, okay, and then kept watching more and got into season 3 where they currently were. Kind of just binge watched it all, and I was like, yeah, I'm sold now. I tried that with Breaking Bad. Watched the first season, didn't like it. A couple years later, watched it again, watched the second season, and was still like, no, I had no desire to click on the first episode of season 3. Like, I just didn't care.
Wow.
Didn't care.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own taste and opinions.
True.
I could literally watch an episode of The Office every day for the rest
Oh,
of my life,
fuck
and then
yeah.
just continually cycle through that series.
Shows like that are
The
so much
Office.
easier to watch because they're
it's lighthearted. It's
these like hardcore. I don't know what you want to call them. These like epic saga style series like Game of Thrones, The Sopranos, Lost, all those kind of series, those kind of shows.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, all that kind of stuff. You either love it or you hate it, honestly. And I'm talking individually, not all in one. Like, you don't love all of them or hate all of them. I mean, like, you could absolutely hate The Sopranos and The Wire, but love The Walking Dead. You could hate The Walking Dead, but love Game of Thrones, but hate Lost. Like, it's just.
I bet you those people are correlated. So the people that love The Sopranos, love The Wire, love Lost, and probably love Game of Thrones, they probably watched all those shows because they're really intense, long shows, and they like that shit. I don't like that shit.
No, I'm saying
like
that they're
Breaking
not.
Bad.
They're not always like that though, because like I love Game of Thrones, but like I couldn't get into Lost. I couldn't get into The Walking Dead. Tried. I say I couldn't get into it, and yet I've seen like 4 seasons worth of content. But I stopped caring. Like they're on like season 9 now or something like that, or season 8. I don't actually know.
Rick's gone now, man. So
I don't even know. Like, I watched 4 seasons. I'm not saying the show was bad. Obviously, it wasn't bad if I was able to stomach 4 seasons of it and actually enjoy a lot of it. But eventually, I just got bored of it. I did not get bored of Game of Thrones. Like during any of it, I was like, I am ready. I'm ready.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
got
next
like
episode
fucking titties.
constantly.
It's got fucking hella titties every 30 minutes.
Yeah,
That's true.
No
I mean, that
male
helps.
fucking
That
gets
helps.
bored with titties every 30 minutes. Come on. The plot line could be goddamn awful, but you're like, you know
Titties-
what?
titties and
I don't
blood
give a
and
shit about
murder
this
and-
plot line, but I guarantee you in about 5 minutes I'm about to see some fresh titties I've never seen
That's
before.
true. That's true.
Oh, and it's old school too. Ancient times, and that's pretty cool. Like imagine yourself being born in that era. That would be pretty dope.
It's not like accurate ancient times, but it has an ancient times feel to it because
For sure.
it's mythical, or mythology. It has its own mythology.
That's
Whatever
what do
the
they
fuck you
call
wanna
that?
call it.
Fantasy, I think is the
Yeah,
technical
fantasy.
term.
Yeah, fantasy.
Fantasy.
Like middle-aged fantasy. Not middle
With
age.
a whole bunch of
Middle Ages.
titties.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talk Junkies. This is Talk 63. I wanted to give, I don't even want to give, I just want to say this. So consistently for like the past like 3 or 4 months, we've averaged over 50 views a podcast, and those are coming from our subscribers. And I really just want to just say thank you to anyone, or thank you to our subscribers and people who listen to us each and every week. I just want to say
Yeah, no,
that.
of course, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
And we've had some videos go partial viral with our Missouri gun legislation video at 172 views.
172 views is not
Yeah,
viral.
that's not even-
You got to
that's not
calm
even-
down with that.
I said semi.
That's not
it's
semi-viral, bro.
It's micro viral.
Yeah, micro viral. It's viral for us. Let's say that.
Yeah, no, we get excited. Anything,
Bro,
we
you
get
can
over 100
you
views.
You can post a picture of your wall right now on Snapchat. 35 people will look at it.
I mean, that's true. I'm just
I'm
saying.
not downselling us. Like, no,
Yeah.
I think this is great. I love doing this. I'm just also a realist and not gonna say that 135 views is semi-viral.
For us. But yeah, I agree. I'm just saying thank you to all of you who listen. I appreciate it.
Yes. One day, years from now, this podcast will be big, and this podcast will be a part of things that will be big, and you will look back and you're like, you know what? I'm one of those
I was
OG.
there. Yeah,
They're
OG.
like, I was
Day one.
day one OG with that podcast. So, and that's
Yeah.
you guys that we're talking to right now, because we're not gonna stop doing this. This is gonna keep. We're gonna keep doing this. 50 years from now, we're gonna. Well, if I live, put me at fucking 78. I don't know. It's getting up there. 40 years from now, we're still gonna be doing podcasts.
Yes.
Probably from separate retirement homes and shit. But
No, we'll be at the same one.
yeah,
with the same
either that or the
equipment,
same
dude.
one. Yeah, but it's this isn't stopping anytime soon. So thank you for being a part of this journey with us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have some stuffs in the works again. I haven't reached out to Mike yet, but I'm going to do that probably here in the next month or two.
Yeah, like I said, give it some time. Give
Yeah.
it a month or so.
For
gotta
sure.
space things out. We got
Crow's coming
When-
on next
Crow.
week.
Yeah, I was about
Crow
to say
will be back.
Crow next week, man. For everybody that enjoyed the Crow podcast, that's about to happen again, but with a different spin on it this time, because we know what we're getting into. We're gonna try to maybe have more intuitive questions this time. Maybe
For
try
sure.
to be a little bit more involved this next time around.
little older, little wiser, little.
Yes. Really looking
right.
forward to that though. It's gonna be real good.
And I've gotten some interesting emails that could potentially be some good podcasts. So just a heads up to all our subs out there. We got some good stuff working in the works.
Absolutely.
So what do you, I think we talked a little bit about what we're going to get into tonight. And this is, Johnny made a good point, and I'll let him kind of dive into it. But with the 5G network, and I know there's a lot of speculation out there right now with 5G. There's a story out there that's been confirmed. It's 100% legit. I need to find it, and I need to put it on the description below. But there's a school where they put a 5G tower up, and they got incentives, through tax breaks and stuff like that once a year for having the 5G tower on their premises. And come to find out, a kid had developed some sort of cancer. They didn't, somehow along the road, the parents saw the tower and they said that was the reason. Well, the school didn't want to put it down. They didn't want to take it down. They wanted the tax incentive, and now 3 other kids have developed cancer. And I think that they are now taking down the tower. Is it due to 5G? I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to see this article. You've seen the article. I haven't. I'd have to do more research on it. That wasn't. I don't know. Earlier you said I would dive into this because I had some point to make. I don't remember having a point to make about it other than.
Just about how technology progresses, and people say they said this about 4G.
Oh yeah,
3G.
no. That's just general. There's a word for it, and I don't know the word. I'm not even gonna pretend to know the word right now. But there's a saying. It's basically that end of world, self-fulfilling prophecy thing, where people always for example, 10 years ago, everybody thought the world was ending, and I'm not talking about the whole 2012. I'm not talking about 2012. I'm not talking about Y2K in the year 2000. I'm not talking about any of that. I mean, it was this big media storm of religious people thinking that the world was ending, and you would hear left and right. I mean, it was on Facebook. It was everywhere of oh, the world's coming to an end because look, everything's matching up with how it matched up in the Bible. We're in a war in the Middle East. This is going on with capitalism. We're getting the mark of the beast because everybody has credit cards now, and you can't do anything without having a file on you. And eventually, it's going to be in your skin and all this different stuff. People have been saying this for hundreds of years, though. There's always been giant storms. There's always been a war in the Middle East. There's always been, and you can say the same thing on a much smaller scale for technology progressing and people having doubts about this technology. I guarantee you, you could find article. It'd be really hard to do because of the way search algorithms and stuff work on Google. But I guarantee you could find articles not even about 4G, about 3G causing cancer back then. And then look, there were 3G towers everywhere.
See, that would be interesting. So you got to look up to see if there are articles, scare articles about 3G and 4G.
I'd
and
be
if
willing.
there- and
I'd
if
be
it's
willing to
been-
throw out a 99.9% chance that yes, those existed. Those articles existed. The same as the ones do now for 5G. It's a cyclical thing.
Now, what would be
It's-
the real problem is if 5G actually was harmful, and then you had all these conspiracy theorists just talking out of their ass about 3G and 4G, and then all of a sudden
And then
you're not going
actu-
to be worried about 5G.
True. That's a valid.
And then now you've played the boy who cried wolf kind of fucking thing coming up to this one where it might actually fucking be maybe a little bit of a biological, physiological fucking problem it could cause.
I
don't exactly know.
I would
how
also
that
like to
works.
say that there's honestly no reason for 5G to exist at all.
I was about to say like
There's
like
no
how
okay.
good
So 5G is going to be 10 gigs basically. They said 20, but then like some ICTU whatever blah 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 research did the actual math. It's going to be like 10 gigs of like whatever you want to call it speed.
the input output
Yeah.
from your
Okay.
device basically.
4G is 200 megabytes a second or whatever. 200 megs.
Yeah.
And then so like 1,000 megs is 1 gig. This is 10 gigs. So this is 10,000 megabytes compared to 4G, which was 200, compared to 3G, which was like, 3G was, 3G was real low. I can't remember what.
I remember 3G being bad
3G was like,
because I remember the
5.
switch from 3G to 4G, and I remember being like, "Holy shit!" 4G
There was a big
is the
noticeable
fucking
difference.
shit.
The thing is, there
I
won't
noticed
be-
that fucking difference.
You're right, and there was because that was only like 5 or 3 or something like that, and then it went up to 200 with 4G. This is now going from 200 to 10,000. So you think there'd be a big difference, right? No, because everything that you're streaming or downloading or whatnot uses less than 200 anyways. If you watch something on Netflix right now in HD, it uses 10 megabytes a second. If you watch it in 4K Ultra HD, the best quality version you can get, it uses 25. That's all it's sending is 25, and you have 200 on your phone right now.
So what you're saying is this is
It's
overkill.
needless, and yeah, it doesn't matter. It will not increase your. You pull out whenever they start coming out with 5G towers. Theoretically, you could load 2 pages at the same time, and there wouldn't be no noticeable difference. The problem is people will think there's a difference because the 4G one will work slower. The 4G one will work slower because they're not getting that same signal anymore because they're replacing those with the 5G towers.
So they could do the same thing with 4G. They just don't want to.
Yeah. So like right now, if you have like all you need to do to play like HD, video games online and all that stuff, 25 is plenty. 25 is plenty.
Now-
You download a game on you have an Xbox and you download a game or whatever, even if you have like 400 coming in, like you've got 400 megabytes a second, that's what you get from your internet, you're downloading at like 30. They cap it.
Well,
Like
I mean, no. Like, how many? 30 what?
30 megs a second.
No, whenever I download games, or if I get any updates, right? I actually just updated Red Dead Redemption 3, or 2, sorry, and it is
It's like,
190.
holy shit, you're like 12
190.
years ahead of all of us.
190.
Got the third one.
190?
Yeah,
Okay, I'd have to see that then. It's crazy to me.
because it was a 1.9 gig download,
Mm-hmm.
gigabyte. And it literally took like 5 minutes because it was downloading 100.
Maybe I'm saying the numbers wrong here too, because that sounds
Possible-
correct. Like
possible
like
reasoning.
2 gigs taking about 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That sounds right. So maybe I'm just off on my numbers
Well,
here.
so like if
I'm
you-
not off on the numbers for I looked this stuff up for Netflix and all that. Like it takes there's an article I could show you where they're talking about it. It takes 25 megs a second to stream 4K. It takes 10 megs a second to stream regular HD, like 1080p or whatever. Just regular HD, what we watch right now on our TV. Takes 10 megs a second. So you're getting 200 on a 4G connection. You do not need 10,000.
Okay, so this is going to be my argument for this. What if they have technology, which every company has technology, probably what we're going to be seeing in the next like 5 years, they already have. So what if they
True.
need to be setting up these networks to even be able to release the new technologies that they have to be able to run it?
And I get that, and I could see that, but like I said, we're still using 25 of 200 right now. We're using 25 of 200, and that's at 4K. Like we don't.
And this has nothing to do with signal strength. Like the signal strength is going to be the same.
I don't
So-
know enough about. I'm not going to pretend to know enough about cell
Okay,
phones
so
and all that.
if
for
you
to-
don't- know
signal,
that,
signal strength is different. Like I said, like with 5G, you're gonna
that's
have
just.
towers.
I think
and-
that's just where you're at the tower. I don't think that 5G having a different amount of like,
Well, it's going to though. Like I said, it's going to be in the suburbs. It's going to be in your front yard. Like, literally, like Sprint.
I'm saying I don't-
Sprint
I
could
don't
come to
think-
my house tomorrow and say, "Hey, we're putting a 5G tower in your front yard, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it."
That's got to be government
okay.
approved.
What-
Like they
It
have to-
already is.
You were just talking about signal strength, though. I'm saying that I think if you're 200 yards away from a 5G tower, you're not going to have a stronger signal than if you were 200 yards away from a 4G tower. I think the signal is the same.
And by the way, if it is putting off any kind of like radiation or anything like that, there's easy test kits you could buy to fucking
Very
be able to
true.
read that shit.
And there
I
are
mean, we
video-
get radiation from everything every day anyways.
True, but there already are videos of people next to 4G and 5G towers with radiation meters.
but you just said
And
they're next
and
to-
it's
they're next to-
beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, you said they're next to 4G ones, though, and it's already doing it. It's been doing it. It did
Yeah.
it with 3G. It probably did it with old cell phone towers. 2G, even though 2G was never advertised as 2G, like that wasn't the big name selling point. It was just called a regular cellular network. But
Yeah.
the whole at the end of the day, I'm saying I don't think we need 5G right now. I don't think the internet speeds matter. There's nothing that we're watching or streaming or gaming or anything.
I'm okay with my internet access on my phone.
And-
I've never not been okay.
There's never been a
with-
flaw with it as long as you have a signal.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
none of us have experienced fucking Google Fiber. Like, imagine what that's like. Allegedly, how fast that is, and that's not even 5G.
I
you
haven't
know?
I haven't been on fiber, but I've had like the T1 connections and stuff before, and there's no noticeable difference. When a web page loads in like 0.25 seconds, I'm not gonna notice when it loads in 0.15 seconds instead.
Right.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, my shit. Like, if you made it any faster, I would not.
You couldn't
fucking
notice.
the fucking difference. As opposed to back in, what was it, 2012, 2013, whenever they did the switch from 3G to 4G.
It was a little. I think it was like 2010. I think it was
Earlier
like
than that. So a
2010.
little even earlier than that. Like, it's not gonna be like that because I already fucking have that. Like, there's no, and I don't know. Maybe there's technologies that's gonna be super fucking cool. That's gonna need.
Wait,
that,
are you
that
saying when they
kinda-
switch from 3G to 4G?
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking 2G to.
Well, but they also didn't have the technology with the cell phones that they have today. So, like, you're literally like,
Yeah,
you're,
no, 4G came out in 2006.
but you're
Okay, so wow, I'm
Between
fucking way off.
2006 and 2010
was like
is
the
when
first
everything
iPhone.
everything was installed.
it was like the first, like, second or third iPhone at the time, or maybe even not even that.
But it's inevitable. They're gonna go to this
Yeah,
no matter
for
what.
sure.
Like that. This is just everything. Like iPhone's gonna be releasing their 5G iPhone in
Yeah.
in
Oh, yeah.
2020, and
Yeah.
Samsung's gonna be a little bit before that. Samsung already has the technology because of they're actually on the front edge of like developing 5G actually.
But see, now
Is-
that now we have to get all these. You got to get the new chips for your phone and all that. Like they have to. Whenever they make new stuff, they have to have different architecture with it or however it works. It's costing them more money, which costs us more money in the end and everything. When we don't actually need it. Like we don't. How often do you watch anything in 4K? First off,
That-
and
that
if you
would be
do watch it
interesting.
in 4K, if you only watch 4K all the time, you still already have the speed for that. We have at the house.
Maybe-
Got
maybe
300 megs a second.
I mean-
that's plenty to run 4K.
I mean, think about this. So by 2025, you're gonna have not 4K but 8K, like twice what our best fucking TVs are doing, twice that on our fucking phones. Is that gonna need fucking a 5G network?
Possibly.
See,
Possibly.
That's what I'm saying.
I think
So
I think even that could potentially get by on a 4G network. If it takes
like,
25,
I'm just thinking. Like I don't know. You'd have to do.
if
Like,
it takes
I don't-
if it takes 10 for 1080, 25 for 4K, even if it took 150, we still
Like-
have that right now with 4G.
yeah.
So I think the question is it really, in like the question that we're asking really right now, is it really going to affect the human body and the way that we operate?
Yeah, get back
And-
to that part, not
yeah,
the speeds and stuff.
So I'm looking up it right now and just trying to see what humans operate when it comes to a hertz level, and we operate during the day. I guess this guy named Bruce Taniano.
Man, this
He-
is kind of pseudoscience, though.
Yeah, he-
whenever you're talking about the body running on frequencies
Well,
and being in tune
What,
with
what I'm
certain
saying is he
frequencies.
built a monitor in 1992 and discovered that the average frequency of the human body during daytime is 62 to 68 hertz.
What do you mean though? Frequency of
This-
what?
I'm
Of
sorry.
hertz.
I'm sorry. This
No,
is
no,
kind
no,
of,
no.
this
I
is-
get that. Frequency
kind
of
of
what
a-
is
this
putting
is a
off that frequency?
pseudoscience.
Your
He's
skin, your brain, like what?
He's just measuring just the human body in
With
general.
what?
It's like vibrations. He's saying the vibrations our body is putting off is a certain
Hold
frequency.
on. Sorry. He said the body resonates frequencies between 62
This
to
is a
72 hertz
pseudoscience.
when healthy.
This is a pseudoscience.
So resonates, so vibrations that you're picking up off their body.
Right. Exactly. He's trying to see what that is.
Okay.
And when you come to 5G, and from what they're able to find, 5G will use spectrum in the existing LTE frequency range, 600 MHz to 6G.
So
HZ.
that's something completely fucking.
that's 600 megahertz
Yeah.
to 6,000 megahertz,
Yeah.
which is way different than what'd you say? Ours run off our bodies at 68 hertz.
Yeah.
That's way far. That would affect us in no way, shape, or form. It's not even close to the same frequency.
Right. But what they're saying is
we need to be in tune.
exactly.
So like this is why this
So
is a
then,
fucking
so does what does 4G run off of then?
no. This is why it's a pseudoscience because supposedly like the frequency
Yeah,
of
I
Mother
don't
Nature.
believe in this kind of stuff.
I know. That's what I was saying. It's a pseudoscience. So what they're saying is you need to only be around things that are in tune with Mother Nature because Mother Nature is at this frequency and we run at this frequency. This is a pseudoscience. Is what you're bringing up right now.
So for maximum compatibility for the North American carriers, this is 2G, 3G, 4G equipment that is minimum dual band 800 MHz.
800
cellular-
megahertz.
Yeah.
So we've been
Cellular-
running off of 2G was way back when 2G was like 2000, like before any of us had cell phones.
in many markets 4G LET WiMAX is on 700 megahertz.
Okay, so let's say it's on 700 then,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
We've been at that since before any of us owned cell phones. Before any of us had cell phones, when we were all 10 years old, it was already nowhere near in tune with us.
we
It was
were-
already at 700
But
megahertz.
no, we were like 18 whenever 4G came out. 18, 19, or 20.
You said this says 2G.
Well, yeah, it
3G.
says North American carrier. Yeah, very true. Very true. Good statement. Sorry.
So that would be back in 2000,
Yeah.
before any of us owned phones. So it's always been like this. Nothing has changed.
Well, the thing that I would disagree with is that we're still young, and a lot of things can happen in the next 20 years. You know, so I mean, there's really not hard data when it comes to this subject, because in 30 years, when people start developing cancer and you don't have an explanation, maybe this is one of the explanations.
I think this is a science has been over this, and medical science has been over the fact that frequency.
I bet they had this
It's
same
not-
talk with. I bet they had. I shit you not. I bet they talked about this when they were sending telegraphs. I bet they thought people sitting in a fucking telegraph room all the time were gonna get cancer.
That was going-
I don't.
Maybe cancer wasn't as well.
Yeah, I don't.
That
That's
was-
almost too far back. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's not. It's
I mean,
not
that's
a
like-
possibility.
Or maybe not telegraphs, but when the
Landlines.
landlines were first created and stuff. Like I feel like, I don't know, dude. I feel like it's always a goddamn scare tactic, and it's talked about all the time with everything. With everything.
It's true. It
I
keeps
think-
you distracted.
I think no matter what, it's inevitable. I mean, 5G is going to come around. I mean, whether or not, and I don't think they wouldn't waste so much money on the infrastructure of fucking doing everything
to kill everyone.
to kill it. Well, yeah, if it wasn't fucking necessary, and that's not how you would. I don't know. That just seems really far fetched to
It's
me. Like,
this
that's how you get
conversation's been
people
had so many
cancer.
times. I mean, people
There's
are
gotta
always
be a
talking about
reason.
people are always talking about the next big thing, the next scary thing that's coming out that's going to cause cancer and cause radiation and kill people and cause autism and call all this different stuff. And we've been talking about this for years. They've been talking about this shit since before any of us were born. Like there's always something in the media
This has
that is
gotta be-
there to scare fucking suburban moms.
This is a necessary part of telecommunications because technologies are going to advance, and you cannot advance the technologies on the same outdated network. Eventually, the network has to be updated. So the very first thing you would want to do, because it takes so much of a process to update the network, go on ahead and start that. Start updating the network. That way, you know, and we might have 5G for the next 20 fucking years of our life before they have to go to fucking 6G or whatever. Because what do they change it like every? I don't know.
Now it's like, I mean, 4G was when I mean, would you say 2000,
It's been a while.
2010?
We've had 4G for a while.
It's like 7 years, 8 years.
9
Yeah.
years.
Okay, so
If that's the case.
3G was created in 2004. 4G was created in 2006, only 2 years later.
So yeah, it's
and then 5G says
it's
it will be
fucking
out by
awful.
2020.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty big difference though. 2000.
Yeah, no, that's a big gap.
But
Yeah.
but with the speeds that they're setting up, they're probably
They're
like, holy
potentially-
shit, they're tired
So-
of redoing this infrastructure every fucking 7 years or whatever it is on
so
average.
by setting this up, they're able to do it for
they're
another
like, yeah,
20.
they're set for the next 20,
Which is
30
what they did
years.
with 4G. 4G lasted from 2004 to now. That's like 16 years.
That's why they're doing it at the speed it is, because they're going to be like, we're going to be able to keep up with the technologies that's going to be
and
coming
that makes
out in the
sense.
next
Now that
20
you're
years.
now that you're saying this, like that
Yeah,
makes sense to me. Then
that's
we
all it
don't
is.
technically
That's-
need it right now,
yeah.
but if it sets us
We
up
will
for
in
20 years,
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
then why not? Yeah, and I
For
get
sure.
that. I get that.
So that makes perfect sense.
What's gonna happen, regardless of what any of us think.
Yeah, but I didn't think about that originally. The whole setting it up for not for now. Like none of us need it right now. None of us need 5G. I mean, it's great for the cell phone companies because it's such a hype new marketing thing. They're
Yeah.
always, man. I remember I remember back in 2004, 2006 or so, seeing the little fucking 3G logo with fire all over it and shit, like blazing fast speeds, blah blah blah. Like
Yeah,
it's an
I remember that
advertising
shit, too.
thing. When nobody knew what it
Which it
meant.
was, 'cause
Nobody
we all-
knew what it. Nobody even knew what it meant.
I was all about it, dude. I was all about faster internet speeds on my phone and shit. But now, not so much. But because I'm already
Because
like,
we've
I don't
reached a
need it.
point
Yeah.
where, like I said,
but
you
we
can't.
will though. I think we've I think we've come to it.
Once technology's
Probably-
increased, but like right now with every kind of video you want to load, you could pull up with your internet connection. You could pull up if you had a 4K monitor, you could pull up a 4K video right now and stream it with no quality loss instantly with your internet connection to this house.
Yeah, that's legit. I think that's enough on the
Yeah.
on the G shit, the G stuff.
Dude, give me 10G.
Yeah, let's get it right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely right
Skip.
now. Let me get it. This was now I actually remember what I wanted to talk about next, and I've already mentioned this to both of you at work this past week. But and I find this to be highly frustrating. Is that and this is just Amazon and Jeff Bezos. He's making millions and millions of dollars, but Amazon
That's an understatement.
paid zero corporate income tax last year.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning this.
$0. And I need to look up the article, but from what I
Says
can see,
it's explained. Is this?
is it? But I hear that 60% of the most richest corporations in the United States didn't pay federal income tax last year. Let's just entertain the idea that this is accurate, right?
Okay.
What does that mean?
Well, first off, a lot of reasons that might happen is the tax benefits and write-offs and all this different stuff. So first off, if there's a company that the United States government wants to keep in America, like let's say Ford or something, then they don't have Ford pay taxes. That way Ford stays here. If all of a sudden they started making
Ford's not going to leave. People are going to need new cars. People are going to need to drive.
yeah, but they'll
Who cares?
but they'll go to a different country and then import them in.
Right.
So to keep companies in America on American soil, they get tax breaks. That's how it's been for a long time.
Right. But
So that makes sense. I'm not saying it's fair or right. I'm saying that if you're giving these companies tax breaks to keep them here, if all of a sudden they have to start paying income tax on everything like everybody else, which they should, they'll just leave. They'll do it. They'll go somewhere else where they can do it cheaper and just import it in to the United States.
man, that's some bullshit.
It's fucked, right? But it's been
hella
like that
fucked.
for a long time.
But I think that's what one thing that, and I agree with you on the last week's podcast after listening to it. You know,
I haven't listened to it yet. I need to. I was a little buzzed.
and I've always agreed with this, but I don't know why I went off on this tangent. But that Trump is just a puppet. But he came in whenever he was president and tried to say that, like, hey, we're going to make these companies stay in America. We're going to bring
Tax cuts. That's how
gonna-
you do that, though.
Yeah.
I was about to say that's the only way that you do that.
That's yeah.
You can't forcefully do it. You have to give them incentive.
If a company says, "Hey, we're going to leave because it's cheaper for us to work somewhere else and then pay the tariffs or whatever
Yeah, but any
to
acting,
ship everything in,"
any acting president, if they were to do that, they could charge hella tax on them trying to bring in imports to the United States.
true, but then you have to charge that same tariff kind of thing to most companies out there, and there's some companies that work from outside, like in China or Tokyo or wherever, where we don't want to piss them off by increasing tariffs.
Right. What I'm saying is there are options on the table that are available to
And tax cuts is probably the most reliable one.
Is
Yeah,
this fucking why that us as middle class individuals have all these bullshit fucking taxes is because we're making sure, and maybe our economy would be worse in the long run. Like, is this why we're fucking paying for so much goddamn shit? Like, out of our own pocket, you know, that the elite can't? Because they're supplying the jobs and shit?
Oh, man, you should have to look up. I might try to look it up here in just a second. I don't want to make up a number, but I feel like I read something like 3 or 4 years ago. There was this insanely high, unfathomable number of how much money is just lost every year in like taxes. Like, so like,
Dude, it's like fucking almost 30% or some shit.
Yeah, no, it's crazy high. They're like,
Stupid.
oh, it's like $60 billion or something. No, that's too high. That sounds too high. Maybe 6 billion or 60 million, something like that. There's some crazy massive amount of money
Where they just
every
don't know
single
where it
year
goes.
where they're like, we don't know where it went. Like, out of your taxes
Oh, yeah,
that you
no,
pay to the federal government, they're like,
Right.
we don't know.
We just don't know.
We don't know where it went.
I've seen some shit on C-SPAN where they're
We lost it. We had a briefcase
Yeah.
with $60 billion on it, and we lost it.
And some guy fucking, you know,
took it.
he left it at a Starbucks somewhere in Manhattan.
there was the Treasury of the Federal Reserve was getting questioned by some of our congressmen, you know, and they're like, well, where are your books? Like, how did just
Disappear?
How did like 1.2 trillion or like it was between $1 billion and $1 trillion just disappear out of nowhere? I'll have to get back to you on that.
Shit is obviously being privately funded and shit like that.
No,
like under not privately funded, but that we
Under the table
technically
stuff
paying
going
for
somewhere.
That's under the table, which is probably a lot of that. There's
No,
some
I'm sure it
secret
is.
shit.
But
there's some
That they
secret
can't.
shit
They
the
can't.
government.
They can't
is-
federally come out and they can't say like, yes, 2% of your taxes
No,
this
because
year
we'd be pissed.
went to assassinating these individuals and killing these 14 kids in this, this city over here overseas.
But I think the most frustrating thing, and like you said, it is frustrating, but like these people should be paying taxes. Imagine if they were to keep their business here. And yes, tax incentives, of course, if you give that to them, they're going to take it and they're going to run away with it and they'll never look back. But imagine if they did pay taxes. I mean, Amazon makes billions and billions and billions of dollars.
They would leave and go to a different country.
Well, that's fine. See you later, dude. I'm going to fucking charge
No,
you a
that's not
50%
good.
tax, and we'll find someone else who'll create the same thing that you did, and they'll okay.
Rather have people here in the
What?
States working.
Why can't they put it on the table? Like they go to
They
Jeff
need to pay
Bezos.
taxes. They need to
No,
pay
I
taxes.
agree. I agree.
Let-
There's no
okay.
good solution.
Okay, this is all I'm saying. Like, make it a little bit fair. Like, if you go to Jeff Bezos and be like, "Hey, we're trying to keep you in U.S. soil," we're like, to make this a little bit more fair, do you mind if we also reduce and take a little portion of your shit and reduce your employees' federal income tax too? Because they're technically a part of the company that it works for. They become happier because they pay less income taxes. Now they're making more money. You have happier employees. It's beneficial for everybody. Why not do it on that
That'd be
level?
actually great if a company like let's say Amazon does not pay federal income tax.
Yeah, it should
So
trickle
instead of
down
just
through
so
every
instead of just
employee
Amazon,
at
how about
least,
the
you know?
employees there don't pay federal income tax?
See, and that's the
or
thing.
or they
If they're
get or they take it, they get a benefit too. It shouldn't just be the very top motherfuckers.
Yeah, the company itself doesn't pay federal income tax, but the employees who work for you do pay federal income tax. That makes absolutely no sense. And not only that, they got a $45 billion stimulus from the government.
Why did Amazon get a stimulus? I understand why stimuluses are handed out left and right to different kinds
banks?
of companies.
To
I
fucking
get that, but
banks?
no, why did Amazon?
Amazon doesn't need a fucking
That seems
stimulus.
That's
There's
I don't
no
know why.
reason.
Just because, like, hey,
no, it's
It
not
has-
just because
we
it's
don't-
not just.
Hey, wait.
E-commerce is a highly competitive fucking thing right now, which I know Amazon is absolutely like the
I'm
power.
saying it's not just for no reason. Look it up. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm saying
$45 billion stimulus to Amazon.
I'm sure there's a reason. Is all I'm saying. It may
Well,
not
hey,
be a good reason,
hey,
but there's
don't-
got to be a reason.
Hey, Jeff, don't leave. Don't leave. Well, I think I might leave. Well, hey, man, here's $45 billion.
That could be the reason.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good reason. I'm
Right.
saying I want to know the actual. I'm saying they didn't just do it for shits and gigs. They weren't like, let's give away $45 billion for no reason whatsoever.
Why can't you put laws in place that all of a sudden make e-commerce fucking easier what Amazon's doing and allow the fucking more competitive market maybe allow, not so much of a monopoly that Amazon has over e-commerce. There's
Well, didn't you say they're trying to break up some stuff with Amazon? I feel like you mentioned that last week or 2 weeks ago.
The government was like literally thinking, hey, Amazon's a monopoly right now. Like you have a monopoly over e-commerce. Like you have no competitors. This
Yeah.
is against capitalism. You cannot have a monopoly of
But it
anyone's
also
sector.
it also is capitalism because they pulled it off. They did it. That's that's the American dream is to work hard and make something.
You still have to have competition though, because then it's without competition, people end up. Then you have to have competition.
No, I agree. I'm just playing the other side here, saying
Yeah,
you're
no,
like it's
I
not
feel
capitalism. Like that is capitalism. That's
Because e-commerce is a new territory that's being pioneered right now.
Have you found this 45 billion?
I don't think it was 45 billion. That's probably a little too high. It may have been like 4 billion, but
Are you sure Amazon received a government
So,
stimulus?
they
That we're
did.
not just talking out of our ass here.
They truly did, yeah. They did receive a stimulus, but those wondering how many zeros Amazon, which is valued at nearly 800 billion, has to pay in federal taxes might be surprised to learn that its checks to the IRS will read exactly $0.
Does it go into why?
It says, according to a report published by the Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy Wednesday, Everything Giant won't have to pay a cent in federal taxes for the second year in a row. This tax break comes even though Amazon almost doubled its U.S. profits from $5.6 billion to $11.2 billion between 2017 and 18. To top it off, Amazon actually reported $129 million 2018 federal income tax rebate. So $129 million, sorry, in a federal income tax rebate, making its tax rate negative 1%. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, still, $129 million rebate. Hey, let me get it.
I'm not seeing anything on here about Amazon getting a stimulus, by the way.
It was a rebate, I'm sorry. $129 million federal income tax rebate.
So they're still not. They're paying negative taxes, which means they're.
Yeah.
Why'd they get the rebate? I missed that when I was looking up.
It just said they got the rebate, doesn't say why.
Oh.
It has been cited by politicians ranging from, yeah, whatever.
Maybe like donations or some shit. Charitable donations, so on and so forth.
This is also the problem. So, like, if this is truly bad for the economy, let's say that the U.S. people don't give a fuck. People still keep using Amazon, even though Amazon is this, like, you could say Amazon's fucking bullshit, man. I was like, they're making so much money, and I'm giving them money, and they've created this fucking shit that's so easy for me to get a fucking, brand new
Bobblehead?
fucking pair of Crocs fucking in like 12 hours or whatever. We're still feeling it. Like, you can be mad at, if you're mad about Amazon all of a sudden making billions of dollars and they don't have to pay taxes, you bet you still fucking use it.
Well, they're not the only
So
company.
they're also getting ready to they're in bids right now.
Quit using it.
They're in
If you're
bids right
upset
now
about
with the government. Amazon claims a third of the worldwide cloud market. So like cloud computing technology, all that stuff, server space and whatnot. They claim a third of the worldwide cloud market. Its biggest growth right now may come from the U.S. government. Blah blah blah. Seattle Tech Giant. Blah blah. It's in line for another $10 billion if it exceeds in its bid for a massive Defense Department contract. Blah blah blah. As Amazon takes a large piece of the federal procurement pie, it could save taxpayer dollars and improve efficiency, but also some fears squeeze out competition. Basically, the government's getting ready to pay Amazon to set up they're going to be a customer, basically. Not of like shoes bought on Amazon, not of fucking buying your random bullshit on Amazon, but like of the computing side of things, the other stuff that Amazon's into, like the government, the U.S. government's
They're good at what they do. They
going to be a
truly
customer.
are. They're really good at what they do. 100%, but still.
That fucking company sold used books. What, 10 years ago?
I remember that.
10 fucking years ago, that company, all they did was sell used books. Now they're literally about to run the fucking world. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, them and Google.
But they sold used book. At least Google was a search engine, like a gatekeeper of information. Dude, Amazon sold used fucking like Harry Potter fucking books.
That'd be an interesting story to read. Not Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
How the
But-
fuck?
Jeff Bezos didn't start it, did he? Or did he buy it? Was he the original
Honestly,
co-founder?
I don't
of
know. I think he was, but I don't actually know.
But
It'd
either
be
way,
something to read
it-
into. Is how did Amazon turn from
Selling
used bookseller
books,
to
now owning fucking like
Well,
goddamn.
because he was selling used books and he realized he could sell anything and everything, and no one else was doing it at the time.
Fair enough.
On the
Fair
internet.
enough.
Yeah.
And then now you just fucking do everything.
Yeah, I mean that's how capitalism
You want
works.
You want a third of information storage? Like,
I mean that's how capitalism works. He was selling used books online, and then he had the bright idea, or whoever, his company, his other board members, the people with him, had the bright idea of, hey, let's not just sell books now. Let's also sell other stuff, kind of like eBay does, but let's just sell it directly from the market, not from people. Like people put their own stuff on eBay. Let's not do that. Let's say, hey, here's a company that makes Nike makes this product. Let's sell it for Nike. Let's be the salesman. Let's be the store.
And-
Nike doesn't have to drive to Walmart.
And guarantee it in 2 days.
Yeah, I mean that came eventually, but he just started with used books, like you said, and then they decided to sell other stuff, and then other stuff, and then they have enough money they can set up cloud computing services and all this other crazy stuff that has nothing to do with selling. And then they bought Twitch, like Amazon owns Twitch TV, which is a streaming service for video games.
Do you have Amazon Prime? Do you?
I do.
So
No, I
do
don't.
I. And that's what, like $130 a year or something like that?
I don't remember.
What
I
do
should
you,
know
what do you,
since I
what do you
pay
get,
for it.
What do you get with Prime?
You get
That's
like
pretty
Amazon,
pricey.
you get Amazon TV, you get Amazon Prime, which guarantees shipping on most items, or it's like 80% of their items or something like that within 2 days shipping.
Like free shipping?
Yeah,
I'm
you
assuming?
get ebooks.
Yeah,
you
it's
get,
free. It's free shipping and it's 2-day shipping, so
And-
you get it.
You get Amazon Music. You get just a list of shit, bro. It's
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
The
so
movies.
that's what he did. He literally, they absorbed everything.
yeah.
They sold used books.
Amazon
and
TV
they absorbed
sucks.
everything.
Amazon
I've never
TVs,
used Amazon TV.
It blows, dude. It blows.
Is that like the TV shows and stuff?
No, it's like Netflix, but Amazon's
Oh
own
yeah.
spinoff.
No,
Yeah.
I've watched a few things on there.
How the
There's a
fuck?
few.
There's not a lot.
There's not.
I've got
How
Game
the-
of Thrones on there right now though through HBO.
Amazon has Game of Thrones.
Yes.
All the seasons.
Yeah.
For free.
Uh,
I'd have to check into
actually,
that.
you might have to pay for HBO, but I think you get a discount
Yeah, you do.
for going. Like you're on Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
and then you pay for HBO, but it's discounted because you're going through Amazon, and you
There's
already
no
pay for
way.
Amazon
There's
Prime.
no way they break up Amazon. There's not a chance. Especially if they have a contract within the U.S. government. Unless the Democrat gets into the House or in office as the president, even then, I don't think it would ever happen.
What are you
It's
gonna?
too
And
far
okay,
along.
I'm not. I don't like the idea of monopolies. I really don't. But at the same time, if they're not, which they have absorbed other companies, obviously. Like I said, the only one I know about 100% for sure was Twitch because I used to watch stuff on Twitch.
A lot of companies do that. I'm
Yeah,
fine
they,
with that.
They bought,
I'm fine
no, but
with
what I'm
that.
saying is when you absorb companies to a degree, like you said, you start forming a monopoly.
Yeah, to the point to where now you absorb your competitors, and now you get to set the fucking price on shit, and you are the only avenue to fucking
But how
go
are,
through.
how are you just playing devil's advocate here? How is the government supposed to? How can you come in and say, "Hey, we know you're succeeding and being successful and making money, so we're not going to allow you to buy out this competitor. You're not allowed to spend your money that you've earned to make your business better. You're not allowed to do it."
Well, I think there has to come a point in time where they've done everything so successfully. Like let natural. I mean, like at that point, whenever you allow them to do that, you're getting rid of innovation in a sense. Because what's to say that that company that they buy out doesn't succeed them eventually?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that, but how are you as the government going to tell them
I don't think you can.
you can't spend your money how you want?
I don't think you can. I mean, eventually, if it were to be too powerful, then yes, you would have to do something. But would they ever be that powerful?
But I mean, Google's a monopoly. Do you use Ask Jeeves to do web searches?
I use DuckDuckGo sometimes.
In general, though, okay, and I use Walmart online shopping instead of Amazon every once in a while. Like you use DuckDuckGo. I don't actually. I'm saying people do. Like it exists.
Right.
Just like DuckDuckGo. My point is like if Amazon's a monopoly, Google's been a monopoly for so fucking long.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They own so much shit that's not even search engine related based. They have whatever the website you're on right now, there's a good chance they're collecting information from you from this website. They own they have the cookies and all that different kind of stuff. They've got those search bots and whatnot on websites that they pay the website to put their stuff on there.
But you're not paying for Google though. That's
True.
the difference.
Google's free, yeah, 100%. Google's all ad revenue. Like you said,
Which
they
is
try
genius on Google's part, but that doesn't mean it's not a monopoly.
Well, Google, they own Microsoft, so I mean that's.
Google does not
Google
own
does
Microsoft.
not own
Oh, they
Microsoft.
don't?
No,
They don't?
no, they
No.
don't.
Are you sure?
They're very,
Yeah,
they're very
separate
two
entities.
separate.
No. Okay.
Trust us, we are playing the stock market right now. We know that they're two very much separate companies.
Google still makes its money in its own ways. Google Play.
It's got lots of stuff, but I would say that the majority of everything Google makes is from ad revenue on
And-
everything.
right.
Ads on websites, and if you go to a website right now, I'd say like any website, and it's got an ad on the side, I'd be willing to take the over under on the fact that those ads are owned by Google. That Google is the one running the ads for that website. There's other ad companies out there, but for the most part, or for the most part, web pages are using Google.
Jesse, enlighten me on Easter, bro.
Yeah, Easter.
Oh wow, we're about to hit. Okay, Easter.
So this was the day.
Talking about all this technical stuff for too long.
This was the day that Jesus was resurrected, correct?
According to the Christian religion, yes. They
Hold on,
hold on, wait, hold on. Let me rephrase that. They celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ on oddly enough right around the spring equinox is when they do it. But whether or not that actually in timeline with the like 4 historians that people accredit it to, whenever it's actually in line, actually isn't in within the same time. But this the weird thing, it's pagan. It's pagan. I'm probably doing an awful fucking job right now. I wasn't ready for this. My mind was so much on business and stocks and fucking Amazon and shit. Basically, it's fucking pagan. The reason why you talk about bunnies and you go and hunt Easter eggs that has to do with fertility, and it's right around the spring equinox and the weather gets nicer. It's about rebirth and the world coming back to life because winter just ended. It is a pagan thing.
So was today the spring equinox?
No.
Okay.
No.
So why does it change each year?
I can't tell you exactly why the date is,
Okay.
but the reason why, because according to the Christian religion, the best thing that happened is Jesus Christ showing his true power by being resurrected from the grave.
Does the date of Easter change every year? I thought it was always like the 3rd Sunday in April every year.
No.
What is it, like the 20?
It was on
Yeah.
March 30th last year.
What?
I don't fucking know. I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's always on a Sunday though.
It was on March 30th last year.
Oh, Jesus,
It's
I don't
Easter
know.
Sunday.
I
It's
have no
Easter
idea.
Sunday. It's always
Yeah, it's
on
always
a
on a
Sunday.
Sunday.
Last
always
year,
on a Sunday.
Last year was March 30th.
So
I don't know. I
it's
don't
whatever
celebrate
Sunday,
Easter.
It's
My
whatever
family
Sunday.
doesn't.
It's whatever Sunday in March, or April or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it has
It
changed.
was on March 30th last year?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know who decides that shit.
Let's
That's
shake
probably-
on $100. Let me.
No,
let me
I
get-
believe
No, I
you.
don't-
I
I
have
don't
no
even
reason
give a
to.
shit.
I don't
I don't even
fucking
give a
care
shit.
about Easter.
No, I know.
But I want all these because whenever I was growing up at church, they had Easter egg hunts at my church. Oh, it's super fun for kids. Which honestly, I would do with my kids. I would fucking. That's cool as fuck. Like you hide Easter eggs, little bits of candy and dollar bills and shit. That's cool. I would like to do that as an adult.
It
But-
was
but
on
you put-
April 1st
April
last
1st?
year.
Really?
Yes.
No way.
Yes. I think it's always in April.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That it's
No.
always in April because it's right around the spring. And look up when is the spring equinox? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I got it. Keep talking. Keep talking. I got it.
So, no, and I'm all for it. No, it's such a lighthearted thing now. It's not evil, but whenever you go to church and you hear the story of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and which is what Easter Sunday is all about, and then you go out and you hunt
You're
for
right.
Easter
Sorry,
eggs,
Johnny.
and then
You're
you go
right.
out
It's always in April.
Yeah.
and then you go out and you hunt for Easter eggs. Well, Easter eggs is a very Wiccan, pagan origin to it because it has to do with fertility and it's a representation of birth. It literally, winter in a pagan culture is like the death of the world, and then you have the springtime, which is birth. You have bunnies, which fuck a lot and have a lot of babies. And then you have eggs, which literally represents the ovaries and fucking women and birthing babies. You're hunting eggs because it has to do with, okay, you have that.
No. Go ahead. Finish. I got one more thing.
So all the bunny shit and then all of the Easter egg hunting shit is actually very pagan, which is fucking fine. It's like any other religion. Like it's lighthearted and it's fun. Like, by the way, how we should take every religion not so seriously, but as just like, you know, like that's lighthearted. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not, but you being like Christians and then running around and hiding Easter eggs for your kids, just understand that it comes from a very pagan, very opposite than Christian religion thing that stemmed from thousands and thousands of years ago that happened. But I always just find it ironic that so many Christian people go and hunt Easter eggs and have chocolate bunnies
Okay.
and things.
So, according to a 4th century ruling, the date of Easter is set for the first Sunday following the Paschal or Pascal, I don't know how to say it, full moon. It's not partial, by the way. I know how to.
It's weird. It's very astrological, right?
Yeah.
Paschal
Very
full moon,
astrological.
which is
Yeah.
the first full
pagan.
which is the first full moon of spring, occurring on or shortly after the vernal equinox. So, the earliest that
And the fires and the robes
Yeah.
and shit. That's
so
what that shit is, man.
March
It's
20
pagan as fuck.
March 22nd is the earliest Easter can ever happen because of when the equinox can be, and then the first Sunday after the full moon following that. Jesus Christ, the cult. It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, March 22nd is the earliest it can be, and April 25th is the latest it can ever be. But I just saw something else saying that it's real rare for it to be that early. So like the last time, where is it?
It is all based off astrological movements of seasons and the moon.
March
and fucking
Easter on March 23rd won't happen again until the year 2160. And the
Damn.
last time it was 1818.
it's very based upon the movement of the stars, which is pagan because
But my question is, why wouldn't you celebrate the day of Easter like on the day that Jesus resurrected himself?
Do you know what
That's-
day that is?
I don't.
I
But I'm sure someone somewhere knows.
they could
or
have
has
a
it.
guesstimate. They could have a
Yeah.
guesstimate. But the reason why
Put it
they
on the
celebrate
day.
it, they might not even know. I'm sure there's speculation. But the reason why they do is because it matches up with pagan religion.
But not everywhere is it. Not everywhere is it like winter to spring. You know, like not everyone experiences the 4 seasons, like you said, when rabbits fuck
Okay.
and all that shit, and then they make
No.
procreate and all that
I'm
stuff.
saying it's they're symbolic. They're symbolic of the time.
But that's not everywhere.
It's rebirth. Okay.
But the
Let me-
equinox happens.
Let me see. This
yeah,
is
equinox
by the way,
happens everywhere, but it's
pagan-
not rebirth everywhere. You know what
whenever
I'm saying?
whenever I use the word
but
pagan,
wherever these religions were created, wherever like paganism and whatnot was probably
and
you're
pagan,
talking around the center of the same like hemisphere and whatnot. It's not like paganism started out in southern Australia.
pagan to be and it's not paganism. I don't think there is such a thing as paganism, but to be pagan is this you're basing your religion off the seasons. Everything, so you would like you'd have a lot of shit of, man, this is a representation of death because things get cold, fucking crops die off, fucking everybody's shitty, you fucking get depressed. You would celebrate in a pagan religion based upon weather and
You would
tracking the
celebrate
stars.
the spring equinox.
You would really fucking like that shit. You like, holy fuck, the weather is
So what do
amazing.
people do in Australia?
What do you mean?
What do people do there when it's just hot all the time?
Because it's opposite. I don't know.
What do
This
they
is
do?
just-
I feel like Australia also has seasons.
But it's hot all the time. What do people do in Texas? When it's like the low
Texas
is like
has fucking seasons.
but like the low is 50. California, like the low is like 50 degrees.
Okay. So to them that's cold.
But that's not really seasons. It doesn't snow there, barely ever.
That doesn't
like
mean
once-
it's not a
once in
season though. They still
generation.
when it's winter there and it's 50 degrees, that's fucking cold for them.
barely cold. That's
No,
not,
for them-
That is not cold for them. No, that is not cold for them. Not a chance, bro. That is
Dude,
cold,
I went to
cold.
okay,
Is, cold
I-
is
I went to Atlanta, and there was the very smallest partial. It's all relative, bro. Everything is relative. I went to Atlanta, the very smallest dusting of snow. I'm talking like it didn't look like snow. It looked like when our grass gets frosty outside.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
too much dew on the grass, and then it hit like low 30s, something like that.
You can't call 4
Look,
seasons in
hold up-
Cali.
hold up, though.
Or a
It looked-
dusting 4
It's,
seasons.
yes, you can. It's
No,
relative.
You can't. No.
Motherfucker, when I was there and this happened, they closed. McDonald's was closed. The highways were closed because there was frost. Because in Atlanta, they don't experience that shit.
No, I understand that.
So to them, that's a goddamn
So
season.
what about a tropical island that's legitimately like the same temperature, almost season?
There's still seasons.
Okay, you have to look at the percentage of population around the equator of the Earth.
Seasons
and
also
then
has nothing to do with the weather. It's where the moon is at and the sun and like
You still track it the same.
yeah,
it's
I
how like
understand
we're
that.
revolving.
I respect that, but I'm saying there's not seasons everywhere. Not a chance.
No, a season is done by like the fucking Earth going around the sun.
Yeah. Do you think Antarctica experiences seasons?
Nobody lives there.
Okay, I'm not saying that.
or the North Pole.
And I'm sure it does. I'm sure
Antarctica-
it's warmer. It's probably
Antarctica has
warmer for 3
seasons.
months.
A tad bit, but it's still freezing
Antarctica has
fucking
seasons
cold.
because in March it's spring there. Because in March it's spring everywhere because that's where we are relative to the sun when we're making a lap around it. Seasons have nothing to do with fucking weather.
Right. But that's how we perceive it, though.
Yeah, but it's an astrological thing.
Yeah, no. I
And,
understand,
and,
I
and
understand
given
that.
and given the tilt of the Earth, because whenever it's winter here, it's summer in Australia.
Right. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that. Sorry. Go
And
ahead.
yet, no, Atlanta though, frost, McDonald's closed, highways
I heard about
closed,
that, yeah.
hotels. Like, I mean, I'm talking the lightest dusting you've ever seen, but to them, it was the end of the goddamn world. Like everything was shut down.
Yeah. Could you imagine watching Jesus Christ
And
just
to me, it was hilarious.
come out of the fucking
You had-
grave?
You
and
had
be alive?
fucking people parked off. You had people like getting in wrecks off the side of the road and shit.
That's a little aggressive.
Could you
I
imagine that though? Watching Jesus Christ resurrect himself.
I mean,
Could you imagine someone just they're dead?
And you know, no one witnessed that.
I've watched a Chris
Do you-
Angel
do you know-
Mind
do you
Freak
know
special
according- that-
before.
Hold on.
dude, that is weird because that's exactly what I was thinking in my head. Like Chris Angel, like literally, like he's with what's his face, and he's just like putting something in his. Or no, maybe that was David Blaine. It was
No, that was Chris Angel. If you're talking about the quarter that he moves through his
No.
arm, and then it comes, he like cuts it
Talking
open,
about,
and
like,
the
nails
quarter
and
comes
shit.
out.
Like people are able to put nails through them and not bleed and shit. And
Well, David Blaine's been doing it recently, where he's literally sticking like a stake in his arm, like on live streaming, like a sword,
I've
straight in his
seen some
arm,
shit
and
like
come
that.
out the other side and just pull it out, and then there's nothing there.
It's just a magic trick, bro.
It's definitely not.
it's
It-
crazy.
No, it definitely is
No, it's
just a
definitely-
magic
It's
trick.
definitely not, because in the '60s, there was a guy called like the Magic Man or something like that, and this was military.
That's how he sold it. That's
it
how
was,
he sold it.
it was legitimately
That's just how he sold it.
like the military. There would be a whole bunch of military guys just sitting there chilling, and they have video of this, and they literally take a sword and they just in his back, out his front.
It's called a magic trick, and there's
It's
always
magic.
It's like when
It's an
oh no.
illusion. It's
Here,
an
check it out.
illusion.
You're saying
He's
that
not
you're saying
really-
there's military
That
people
would
who
have to
took.
be video manipulation at that point.
No, I'm not saying that. You're saying there's military people who were there. You don't know they weren't staged. You can't say they weren't because Chris Angel walked on water across the pool at some hotel in Vegas. They literally went back and later and showed how it was done. There's these like crystal pillars in the pool where he's walking. Every single person there. This fucking hotel was packed, and there's people all over the pool and everything. It's all a set. Everyone there was in on it. They had girls swimming through the water between the crystal posts and stuff. Magic tricks are goddamn magic
In the
tricks.
60s?
They're
In the 60s?
illusions.
Yes.
Yes,
No.
it was still back then. They're
Those-
still illusions.
Those actually, a lot of the illusions that are done today had already been done back in the day. They just are not popularized by magicians up until now because of fucking media and shit. And they're bringing up shit. Dude, anytime you see a fucking magic trick and you think, holy fuck, this guy has superpowers. He doesn't have superpowers. He's
Okay,
a
hold on,
very
hold on, hold on,
well-trained
hold on.
illusionist.
Hold on. How about this? The guy who can change his mask like 600 different times in like less than like 3 minutes.
It's an illusion.
What do you mean change his mask?
Like he has like 200.
That's really cool. No, I know what you're talking about. It's super fucking cool.
Maybe it's sleight of hand then. Like there's still I'm not saying that people aren't skilled or talented, but it's not magic.
within that sense is a fucking not a superpower, but no, it's highly skilled
Yes.
individuals.
Yeah.
They're not.
Have you seen what's his name? Chinese guy. I've showed it to you before, Jesse. Chinese guy who does the card tricks and it's all sleight of hand and it looks crazy, like he makes the deck jump from one hand to the other, like it's a full deck and he goes like this and it jumps to this hand and stuff, and it's all like sleight of hand. He talks about it afterward. It's like, but it looks like real fucking magic. Like
You
it's
know
insane.
how thin it would have to be, the mask, though, if you were to change it every time?
Bro, you're trying to
that's
figure
still-
out a magic trick. You just need to be in awe. This is your job
Hold
as a
on, hold on,
spectator.
hold on.
Just be in awe
So,
of the magic trick.
What my question is...
You about to show me shows?
No. I'm not going to show you. It's completely up to you. If you want
I
to
love to
look...
watch it. I love magic.
If you want to look this
I'll
up...
watch it afterwards.
If you want to look this up on your own time,
Penn
that's
and
completely
Teller,
fine.
Penn and Teller would be like, okay,
Oh,
this is
they're
how
great.
this fucking guy does this.
Do you think it's possible that maybe, and I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here to disagree with both of you.
Do it.
That maybe these people are possessed and the devil
Nope.
gave them some sort of
Absolutely
powers
not.
to,
Nope.
Absolutely
to
not.
do the things that they
Nope.
do.
Absolutely.
You
not.
asked the question. I'm giving you the answer.
Absolutely
No.
not.
Okay.
100%.
So there's nothing supernatural.
Nope.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Absolutely not.
No, there's not a chance that there's not anything out
There's a
there.
chance of
supernatural.
anything. There's a chance of anything.
What about
Paul?
what about
0%.
What about
chance.
it?
I'm not even gonna.
okay.
I'm not even gonna entertain it. I'm not even gonna entertain
So
it.
the guy that can live out in
You mean
in
the guy
ice.
who's a stage performer who's been working on stage performance performance, all of a sudden he's the one
Do
who
you-
has fucking magic fucking powers.
Do you believe in miracles?
No,
What,
not at
it
all.
depends what do
Not
you
at
mean
all.
by a miracle.
I'm just
Not at
asking
all.
in general. Do you believe in miracles?
Depends what you mean by a miracle. It's
A
a miracle
is
that I
something
got.
that has simply not been able to be explained by science yet.
I
That
got
is
hot
all it is.
fries
So-
the other day at work. That's a miracle.
So, true. Agreed. Everything can be explained by science.
At some point, maybe not right now. Like things that seem like a miracle. Okay, back in the 1700s, fucking some shit happens that I'm trying to think of a good example. Back in the 1700s, I don't even know. Somebody fucking they thought was fucking dead, but then fucking wakes up like a fucking hour later. They were like, "Oh my god, this is a miracle! This guy fucking came back to
Or
life."
like someone
Well,
getting
really-
up from a coma or
Yeah,
something.
but he was really
sure.
never fucking dead. He was
Yeah.
really never. It's explainable.
Right.
Anything you think is a fucking miracle, because guess what? For something to be supernatural, it would have to be completely outside of this universe. When
Outside of this universe? What do you mean outside of this Earth? It doesn't have to be the universe.
no, within the universe,
We don't
Like,
even know what the
shit-
universe is, Jesse. We know what our Earth is.
I'm saying that everything will be explainable at some point. Like if we're in awe by it, we're like, holy shit, how the fuck? What is this ball of fire in the fucking sky? Like we know what that is now.
Yeah.
And whatever you're in awe of right now that you think is magic will eventually science will be able to explain, because science is the explanation of how things work. And if you're able to physically witness it, it is working on a scientific level, and it is working within this universe, and it will be able to be explained. Nothing is outside of that.
And
Absolutely nothing is outside of that. Even ghosts and shit, dude.
Oh, don't even go
Dude,
with
no,
ghosts,
this could be
bro.
interdimensional.
No,
No.
fuck you. No,
No, think
that's
about it.
Interdimensional?
Dude, ghosts could be like, we could live in a multiverse, and then
Ghosts can
another
interact with
dimension,
us?
and then what we see as a ghost could actually maybe be a fragment of another fucking dimension that's fucking overlapping. But science one day will be able to fucking
yeah, one
explain
day
that
we'll be able to
shit.
explain
No.
what it is.
Oh, I
One
don't
day we'll
know.
be able to
I don't
explain
know if
what it
I-
is.
I don't know if I believe in that.
I don't
You believe in
believe
ghosts?
it
Wait,
either.
do you
It's not
believe in
even-
ghosts,
I don't even
though?
believe
That's
it's either.
interesting. Bro, when I had a friend die when I was like 19 years old, and some pretty weird shit happened.
Okay.
Extremely weird shit. I'm not gonna
Dude,
delve
what if
into
he
it.
just moved on to another dimension and was still so close to like this one, and this overlapping fucking thing happened, and then like the energies
I think
were just
Jesse's
right?
just trying to make the point that science
Dude,
can
science
explain
will
a
be
lot
able
of
to
stuff.
explain
Just
that
because we
shit.
can't
You just gotta
explain
give
it
it time.
now.
Because it's all we've ever done has been
Science
like, oh,
can't-
this
okay,
is supernatural.
So check this out, okay? So when my friend Matt died, at his funeral, right? There was a brand new song. I think it was called.
and not the band brand new, by the way. Not,
band, yeah.
Not
The
a
band.
like new song.
So, and you guys
Great
take,
fucking band, by the
take,
way.
take this
Brand
however you
New's
want.
excellent.
I forget what the song's called. But anyways, it plays. You know, that was the first song that played because Matt loved Brand New, and it played. Everything was fine. Then they tried to play some like classical shit. Skipped, like just some funeral music shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just skipped. And then they tried playing it again. Skipped. So then they just replayed the Brand New song. Completely.
Was
fine.
it on the same CD?
I don't know. I wasn't
Maybe the other
DJ.
CD was scratched.
Yeah, you could just say that the CD was scratched.
That was one instance. You know what I'm saying? That
And
happened.
I'm not discounting
Right.
what
and I don't
you-
want to discount. Like I want to believe in some shit like that. Like
but it
I
could
would
be
love.
science. I think Jesse's saying that in the future, like
Science
let's say
won't
no,
be able to explain that. There's no way.
why in the future. Why not? Let's no.
What if,
Hear me
what
out
if
here.
he's still
Let's
like
say
some energy presence, dude. That'd be cool as
let's
fuck.
say
but
it
you'd still be
really
able to
let's say it
explain
really
by
was
science.
Matt. Let's say it was Matt and he was making that skip, right?
Yeah.
500 years from now, 2,000 years from now, maybe science can explain.
True.
There's an alternate reality happening at the same time as us, and when someone passes over, that's where they go.
Possibility.
It sounds crazy,
and
but
they
if
have like
science can
trailing
explain-
energy and connected to us in some way, because I believe that we're all fucking connected. You could have a weird spiritual sense to thing, but science will eventually be able to explain that, because that's all science is explaining the world that we live in. And if somehow a piece of our world is interconnected with other worlds, and the transference of
I hate
fucking
the-
human energy and all this shit, eventually we'll be able to fucking decipher it.
I hate the word science, man. It doesn't have to be science. Science doesn't figure everything
What
out.
do you
There's
mean?
Why
no-
would you hate
what-
the word
no,
science?
Paul,
It's just-
what you said just makes no goddamn sense.
Why would you hate
Yes,
the
it
word
does.
science?
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, what do you mean?
It-
Why does science have to? That is what
Dude,
science
science,
is.
Science is a cult. Bullshit, bro.
No,
Science is a
oh my
complete
God.
cult. It's a
Science
complete,
is the
it's-
explanation of
it's-
our reality.
It's just like Christianity, or it's just like
No.
fucking
No, my
being a
God,
Catholic.
no.
Yes,
No.
it is. Yes, it is.
Sci-
It's just
because
the same
science
thing.
never says this is it. They always call it a theory.
Bullshit, dude.
They
You
will
ha- you
never
ha-
put it in your fucking face like, hey, this is
Are you-
absolute.
Are you kidding me?
Besides the things that are clearly absolute,
Darwinism's ultimate truth, evolution, ultimate.
They've
truth,
never said that.
Big Bang,
It is right
ultimate
now
truth.
until
Dude,
they prove it wrong.
to them it is, and if anyone
Until they
if anyone questions them about any of that shit, then they're completely stupid and they're
Right now you are a fucking idiot if you question that stuff
bullshit,
and you're not
bullshit. It's a fucking theory. Why would you not question it? That's what you're supposed to do. But
through scientific methods, not just saying it's not real.
You're saying science is the same as religion.
No.
Yes.
Science, the description of what science is. There's science
The
about
number one
religion.
thing-
Science is just the study and
The
just
number one thing
researching and
combating
learning
traditional
things.
religion is science.
Yeah.
Like the traditional idea of religion, science combats it.
so why can't
and
you-
it's been arguing it
so
for
why-
fucking. It's
so why-
literally the polar opposite.
So I'm literally having a conversation with you two, and look how bent out of shape both of you are getting because I'm questioning science. Because you guys,
No,
you
no,
guys,
I'm
you
not
guys
bent out-
hold on. You guys think it to be ultimate truth.
No.
and it's nowhere
No.
near that. Look how defensive both of you just.
So
got.
let me say my piece
no,
then. Let me say my piece.
And you're still defensive about
Yes,
it.
because what you're saying is ignorant as fuck
No, it's
instead of
not.
letting me say something.
It's not. I'm going to let you say
Okay.
something, but it's not ignorant at all.
Okay. You good now?
I'm listening.
The
yes.
part that you're saying that is ignorant, and I'm losing my train of thought now, which is unfortunate. You're saying that we're getting all defensive about it and whatnot. I'm defensive in the fact that you're saying science is a cult and all this different stuff. I'm not agreeing with certain scientists and stuff. The part you're saying, so science in general, the study of science and so on and so forth, just means researching and finding out new things. There's science about religion.
Right.
There's religion is a science. They evolve. Things change. You're learning new things. Me fucking seeing if this fucking falls to the ground is science. Like everything is science isn't a religion or a cult or anything like that. Maybe there are certain scientists who could be in a cult. Maybe there are government people who could form their own religion and all this. But science in general is just us figuring out things. It's us figuring out what this wood does when you burn it and you create a chemical reaction.
Can I
That's
explain
what
it this way?
science is.
Can I explain it this way? Can I explain it this way real quick?
Yes,
Can I get my 2 seconds? Give me my 2 seconds.
I will literally say a few words. The idea of science is beautiful, but
That's it.
But what people have turned it into is completely.
You didn't say that earlier. You didn't say that earlier, though. You said
no.
science is a religion.
Right.
No, that's ignorant as
Religion-
fuck.
okay.
Science is figuring out what things are.
The idea of science, yes. Is
Religion.
yes.
Religion tells you how to live your life. That is what religion is. The most
Science doesn't
simple,
tell you how to live your life.
No,
It doesn't.
doesn't. Do you think listening like Neil deGrasse Tyson wants you to live your life a certain way, or Lawrence Krauss wants you to live your life a certain way? No, religion tells you how to live your life a certain way. Science is simply trying to figure out why everything is. That's
all
it.
science is.
Right.
And whether or not it's right or wrong, and it knows it could be like new science can come in and fucking change it. Science is constantly updating, constantly trying to be the best version of just an explanation of why things are the way that they are.
Right.
Religion is all religion is this is how you live your life. That is it. Completely opposite. Completely fucking opposite things.
Maybe we'll save it for a different podcast. But we were out
Because that could be a whole fucking another hour, right?
We are at an hour and 7 minutes, so we're gonna end it right there.
Okay.
Good podcast, by the way.
I liked it.
Yeah, me too. So you guys get
Ended
ready.
it hot.
Yes,
Like
get ready
Ended
next week
hot.
for the Crow podcast. It'll be on Monday. I'll upload it Monday around 5 or 6 p.m. Thanks for watching. Hit the bell notification button. Hit the subscribe button to all our junkies out there.
Stay fly and ring the bell.